good evening, or depending where are you right now located, it's either good evening, good morning, good day, good night. I'm not sure if this is really a thing, but still. I'm Paweł Spychalski and welcome to the Saturday night live, the name is kind of stupid, live stream, FPV live stream with me, Paweł Spychalski, and I will be for the next 2 hours trying to entertain you a little, as long as you are into the remote control, drones, airplanes, INAV beta flight, whatever the stuff you are. Actually, I do not have a problem of guessing who you are because my audience is extremely well targeted, so I I do not really have to worry too much trying to target you, and I know that majority of you are here because of the INAV 4.0. I announced that exactly, AMAX, exactly, and Moin. Which origin? If you don't know what, let me go back to the Moin. If you don't know what Moin is, then Moin is the hi, hello, welcome, whatever, which kinda originated in the Hamburg area of the Germany, and then kinda like went everywhere to the Germany. In theory, it means morning, but at one point everybody just started to use it in every possible context. So Moin, so Hamburg and North Germany friends, Moin. Anyhow, INAV 4.0, this is this time of the year when we are closing to release the next version of the INAV. And, well, this live stream, the main topic of this live stream will be to bring you the news about what will be happening with INAV 4.0, because, yes, the next release will be called INAV 4.0. Let me quickly adjust the microphone. Every stream I'm fighting how to put the microphone. 4.0, and because the target is that today during this live stream I will push the button and you will be able to download the INAV Configurator 4.0 and the INAV 4.0 firmware release candidate 1. What does it mean that this is the release candidate 1? This means that we think it's working, and this is exactly what we want to release. However, there might be some issues, not like critical issues, because believe it or not, but quite a lot of people are flying the latest master branches, latest development versions of INAV, and if something is not working, then kinda it's popping up. However, in some of the like special cases, something might be wrong from time to time, but really nothing super serious should be happening over there. So in general, the release candidates are safe to use. You will not fall from the sky. Maybe from time to time something will not really work like expected. And with the INAV 4.0 there is quite a lot of interesting things. We will quickly go through majority of them during the live stream. However, this is something like the let's say I have to spread the joy for the next 2 hours, because I have only like 5 things on my list to talk today, and the INAV 4.0 is the biggest one. So we will spread the joy and slowly go through the things. If you are new to the stream, then this is extremely simple. I usually have something to talk about. But if you have a question, would like to discuss something, then please put the message in the chat. If you would like to buy me a super then, or make a donation, then of course be my guest. I see that Pirx just became my supporter on the YouTube. Thank you very much, Pirx, highly appreciated. The donations from my YouTube supporters and the Patreons are actually the thing that are bringing this channel and as well as the INAV development forward, because honestly, if not those two, I would probably not be working on INAV, at least not as much as I'm working on INAV at all. because it's just such a huge investment. However, those few bucks that I get thanks to you guys is really something that keeps me going. So people are joining. We have right now 50 concurrent viewers. So hello everyone. I see that Big Kleiner is with us. By the way, say hello to the Benedict, because Benedict is the guy who in September allowed us, no, earlier than that, never mind, allowed us to roll out the H473 boards, and now for the INAV 4.0 allowed to basically have the SD card support for the H7s, because with the INAV 4.0 the SD cards and the H7s are finally a thing, and all the functionalities of the H7 are that INAV supports are right now implemented into INAV. No, there is no UAV and no UAV CAN, because from the INAV perspective this is honestly a minor feature. Why a minor? Mainly because there are not that many sensors you can connect to the CAN. Yes, there are Domatex GPSs, but you can also connect them to the serial, and they are working just as great. And INAV cannot really use other sensors that are very ArduPilot specific, and usually only the ArduPilot can talk to them. So this is not really something high priority. Anyway, Benedict, thank you very much for your help. You're the man. You saved the INAV 4.0. I see that we have a first donation. Blair, thank you very much. You're always super kind person, and you have no idea how much money Blair donated to me here or on the Patreon so far. Oh, Make Me Laugh is here. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. Super nice to see you. We have Giovanni, Anatoly, we have a lot of other people, and 60 concurrent viewers. This is almost like the like the record in this iteration of the stream. If you have not pushed the like button, then please do it right now, and we will go. Let's begin with the INAV 4.0. First of all, why the version change? Because previously we were like incrementing 2.0, 2.1, 2.3, 4, 5, 6. Then we made a jump to INAV 3, then released INAV 3.0.1, and now we are releasing INAV 4. Why the major version change instead of keeping the minor version? Because turned out that what we were doing before with the versioning was not compatible with something called the SEMVer, semantic versioning. Every time you make a change that makes your software not fully compatible with the previous version, this is a major change. And because we are adding and removing settings all the time, we are making basically every release of INAV a major change. This is why from 3 we now are going to 4, from 4 we will go to 5, and so on and so on and so on. From time to time we will be releasing also the minor version. So for example, I'm already planning INAV 4.1, when I will just add one of the features to the release, but we will rather not be going into 4.1.1 because the latest one is the build number, and we will not be playing with the build numbers anymore, because it makes absolutely not any sense. So this is why we are jumping from the 3 branch to the 4 branch, because now it will be simpler, and hopefully we will finally get rid of the situation when people will not mix INAV 3.0.1 with INAV 3.1. We had such a cases, and hopefully this no longer be a thing, and it will be better. So and now what you can expect with the next release of INAV? Quite a lot. Let me quickly share my screen, and let's go through the full list of the changes on the GitHub. There are how many? 169 closed pull requests, so the amount of changes is, let's say, somewhere close to 140, because of course because one change actually might be part of the few merge requests, and also the single merge request can bring multiple changes. Oh, and I see Darren Lines, Mr. D falling with style, is with us. By the way, say hello to Darren, because Darren also recently was promoted to be INAV developer. Yes, you have no idea how many of the cool code Darren recently proposed to INAV, so thank you very much, mate. Thank you everyone who made the next release of the INAV actually possible, and something that, well, keeps us going. LP FPV, no, resource mapping is not on the list. Resource mapping is not on the list because Betaflight kindly ignored the servos. We cannot ignore the servos, and because of the how STM32 handles different frequencies on the outputs, mixing outputs that are connected to one timer to different functions actually make everything super complicated and even impossible. So this is why we have no resource mapping. If, however, anybody would like to work on the resource mapping that is not ignoring the servos, I'm super happy to but okay, let's go through the list of the changes quickly, and I do mean quickly because we will not go through everything. I have the list with the most important thing already prepared in the release notes, and during the duration of the stream I will just press publish and this thing will go live. So first of all, filtering changes. This mainly will affect the multi-rotor pilots, because for the multi-rotor pilots the filtering is basically one of the most important things. There are changes. And the changes are that right now the Kalman filter, the unicorn filter, is enabled by default. So if you have not enabled this thing before, you don't have to, because INAV will enable this thing for you. Why? Because it gives very nice dynamic way of filtering stuff, including the actual prediction of the gyro setting, not only the filtering itself. On top of that, dynamic filters, dynamic notches are enabled by default. The dynamic notches were greatly reworked with some of the settings removed, because right now I'm in this phase when I see a settings that you are not really supposed to change, I'm just deleting the setting, because why to worry about stuff that is not really important. And as a proof, I can show you a proof, because if anybody's seen the for example the PID tuning tab on the previous versions of the INAV, you know that filters were full of settings. You were able to set so many things, and the same thing was happening on the ITER mechanics, and now mechanics actually. Now the whole filtering setting for INAV is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually 7 settings, and you are only really supposed to change this one, and this one. Everything else you do not really have to change at all. So the filtering is really like setting 3 values, and it should be good for almost everyone. Almost the same happened with the mechanics, because why do you item relax should be on. So if it's on by default, why to have a setting to turn it off? So that's why we are just simplifying everything as much as possible and getting rid of the stuff, because yeah, the simple is better. Look at keys. People appreciate keys so much because it's so simple. Well, it's not really that simple, but still, it's pretty simple. So then the resolution of the dynamic notches, the matrix filters, is pretty greatly improved. We have ported the PT2 and PT3 filters from the Betaflight, but they are available only on the DTerm LPFs. Works great out of the box, no need to worry about that at all. Alpha Beta Gamma filter, something that we were experimenting with the inflight in the beginning of the year, is almost also gone, because it turned out that it was not really helping that much with the tune, and because of that Alpha Beta Gamma just gone. No need to experiment anymore. But the Smith predictor is enabled by default for everyone. You usually do not even have to configure at all, because the Smith predictor is on, it's doing its thing, and it's good for you. So leave it like it is. H743, this is something I already talked about. The SD card is on. Even the MSC mode works, so if you just plug in the USB, you can go to the CLI type MSC and you will have access to the SD card. Thank you very much one more time, Benedict, for the help on that. And also the MSC mode is right now also fixed on the F7 MCUs, because for like last year the MSC was broken on F7. Last weekend I had a very nice bisect session trying to figure out why it was broken. Now it's fixed, so everything is great, fantastic. Then BlackBox. This is almost always very interesting topics, and also the black box logging we had for the multi-rotors were kind of okay when you just want to log as much of the data for the tuning as possible. However, for the long-range pilots and the fixed-wing pilots, especially using the flight controller equipped with Flash, INAV was really logging too much. Because it was logging data that was not really a position, not important for the basic tune, just super specific to the INAV data. Right now you will have with INAV 4 a way to disable this. How? Because in the CLI there is a command called blackbox when you can enable or disable one of the things. For example, nav ACC, nav PID, most probably you never really have to worry about those, so you can just type blackbox minus nav ACC and this will never be logged. Or you can enable logging something. So for example, when you are doing only the basic tuning of your multi-rotor, you only leave the gyro over there and it's done. Also, INAV also logs always the feed forward and the control derivative, so this is pretty nice. Oh, something else? Rate dynamics, something that inflight guys are pretty fond of, and many people like the rate dynamics. If you would like to try rate dynamics with INAV 4.0, you can do it. This is almost one-to-one port. The names of the settings are slightly different, but if you have any materials about tuning of the rate dynamics, you can just, in the inflight, you can just use that for the INAV version. There is in the release notes, there will be link to my video about the rate dynamics on the inflight, and also link to the inflight wiki about this topic. Just go there, read there. If you would like to modify your feeling of the sticks, you can do it absolutely no problem. What else? Missions. Really a lot of changes about the missions and the autonomous modes. Here I have to thank Bredoven, one of the developers who really, and Bredoven and Darren, right? Darren and Stronach. Those three are usually in those areas. So we have now INAV supports multi-missions. You can store on the flight controller up to 120 waypoints, and you can divide those waypoints in the three, maybe even more, I don't remember right now, separate missions, and you can choose which mission should be executed with the stick command before R. So you just like, I want to do the mission number 1, you load the mission number 1, take off, and the quad or airplane does the mission number 1. This is super handy when you have those situations when you, like I said, you would like to have possibility to just to pick the mission you would like to execute instead of having to connect, upload the correct one, and so on and so on and so on. Pretty nice hack of the version. The detailed. If you want to use the multi missions, I don't have yet the documentation because it just was merged slightly too late. However, the best. And by the best, I do mean the best ground control station for the INAV, which is the Stronach's MWP tools, support this thing fully, and also INAV configurator also should be supporting this right now, so it should be fine. Like I mentioned, also the number of waypoints is higher. Oh, this is awesome! You can now record a mission while you fly. How you do it? You take off. You just fly when you want to record a waypoint for this thing to execute later. You just flip a switch on your radio. INAV stores your current position as one of the waypoints, and then when you land, you can get the mission from the flight controller and use it later. So this is a really great, for example, okay, Darren writes something, but still, thank very much Darren for everything he did for this release. So yeah, still Stronach and Bredoven are really the guys that are mostly about this kind of stuff. So where was I? Yes, on the fly missions. You just can record the missions as you fly. I think I will create a separate video only on this topic because this is super interesting. And fly by home waypoints. It's a dynamic type of the waypoint that always points to your home. So if you would like to have, I don't know, like go left, right, it just simplifies the setup of the mission when you want your UAV to go home and then continue flying somewhere. And quite a lot of changes for the fixed wing pilots. And with this release, especially the yes, Amax, with height and not speed, because speed is complicated, but but height, yes. So soaring mode. This is something that the gliders pilot, especially powered gliders pilot, will use, because up until now, the INAV was not really compatible with gliders. Yes, you could fly the glider as a powered aeroplane, and then it was behaving just fine. However, at the moment you cut the motor, and especially leave it in the angle or the position hold mode, the INAV was just trying to keep the altitude, which in the glider without the power is impossible. So now the soaring mode, soaring mode is there. How it works? It's compatible with the angle and the position, angle or the heading hold. Okay, there is a link to the detailed explanation how it works. So just you will be just able to go there. And it works in the way that basically in the position hold mode it will be still circling, but if you enable the soaring mode it will cut the motor and disable the pitch and altitude control. So the glider physics will be responsible for, let's say, keeping the altitude in pitch, but it will try to keep the XY circling, and usually, like, you know, circling going down without the power. But if you are in the thermal, it will of course go up, because it will not try to connect itself. And then when you are bored with the soaring or just want to enable the motor, you disable the soaring mode, the motor kicks in, and you can like go high, up, higher, go increase the altitude, and have fun one more time. So really now we can say that INAV finally also supports the gliders, and because now it makes sense to like find the thermal, enable the position hold, and it will hopefully go Schmutztimo. Yes, it's possible to have like gliders with INAV, but don't fly them in position hold mode without power. Two-stage climb first for return to home. Another variant of how your airplane should go home, because previously we had only the case when it was either like trying to climb when going somewhere and then go home, or start turning and going home and then only climb. Now we have additional option, and one more time there is a link to the exact description how this is working. And yeah, this was built by Darren, so Darren is an expert. And Autotune changes. Autotune changes now should be better, because it's no longer tuning P and I, and it will be only tuning feed forward, which actually is the most important part of the thing. And a lot, and by a lot I do mean a lot of changes about the OSD. We will not go through all of them. However, here in the change list, the OSD improvements, this is almost everything about the OSD. We can open a few of them so you know what I'm talking about. So what we have? Oh, it's not opening. I think I... Okay, never mind. So message improved, compass, and so on and so on and so on. But we will definitely not go through all of them, because this is just too much. Oh, something super cool. Now, for this I have to take one of my quads, because this is something I have to show you. when you have a quad with the GPS enabled and the DJI Air unit. Now I have to find the cable. No, this is not the cable. I made a tactical mistake. Instead of buying USB, micro USB and USB-C, no, they are not. They are both the same. I made a tactical mistake. Instead of buying them in different colors, I bought everything black, and now I have no idea which cable does what. So huge mistake on my side. Let me quickly connect my Pirx 7, which, by the way, is right now equipped, of course, with the H743, the best flight controller you can have. And we will disconnect over here, and we will select COM4. And let's go to the OSD. Now, when INAV configurator detects that it has the DJI FPV connected, it only shows you elements that you can display with the DJI system, not the elements that they are not supported, including those you can do with the name hack. Because right now you can just select whatever you want to have wherever you want to have, and INAV will just store the information. There is no need to use the pilot name hack when you were able to configure something for the DJI. So this is how the DJI OSD screen looks like. As you can see, the number of elements is much smaller, including you can set the source of the temperature, source of RSSI, 3D speed, and so on and so on. This is super awesome. If you're a flight DJI, this is really super awesome stuff, and thank you. I think that was bread oven mainly, or not. Like with this release, half is done by the bread oven. Okay. So what next? What next? Maybe something in the chat. Okay. I'm tired talking about the INAV, so something from the chat. 6 is 1 FPV. I have a Matek Diversity LRS receiver. Should I use included dipole antennas or T-style antennas? Whichever you want, mate. Those are only 2.4 GHz antennas, and it doesn't really matter which one you connect, because the antenna is the antenna. If the antenna is connected tuned, you can just use whichever antenna you really want. So you can live with the antennas you get, which are the dipoles, sleeved dipoles, or switch to not sleeved dipoles, T-style, but this is still a dipole. However you want, this does not change. And Schmutz Timo, do I know if the Success M Mini F4 FC can run INAV? If this is the Betaflight F4 target, then yes, I think so. Okay, let's go back to the changes. So we had this. Oh, you can also restart the mission when it was ended. Yeah, smart audio on the software cellular was fixed. Apparently the smart audio requires to send 00 between each packet, and with the soft serial it was not doing that. So when you had a soft serial connected to the smart audio receiver, and the receiver was strictly following the protocol, it was just not working. Now it's fixed, and both hardware serials and software serials should be sending exactly the same data. Autotune improvements, yeah, something that I mentioned, PT2 and PT3 filters. This is something that will be part of the Betaflight 4.3, but because Betaflight 4.3, nobody knows when it's gonna happen. It's not there, so INAV is releasing this thing sooner. Oh, deboost 2. This is something interesting. This is something that I have to talk to you. What is the deboost 2? For some time, INAV has the dynamic degain scaling, which, when was faster rotation rate detected by the gyro or by the sticks, it was boosting the degain, so that The idea was that when you are doing a flippable floppy, then you have more degains, but you're just flying, then you have less degains, and this was helping with reducing the amount of noise that were going into the motors. And it was, well, let's say, working just fine. This is the analog of the Betaflight Demin, the same idea. Either gyro records rotation speed or you enter the rotation speed, so then we boost the gain to smooth everything out. And then this year there was this drama with the Flight 1, Falco X, where the code leaked and people got to see how the sim mode is working. And what sim mode was doing, the sim mode is when you are adding the stick input, then it's lowering the D gains and it's boosting P gains. And it turned out that it's super interesting to fly. So I'm not saying that the deboost 2, which by the way by default is enabled in INAV with the INAV 4.0, is the port or is the sim mode, because this is absolutely not true. They both work in the completely different way. The detection if the gains should be scaled is done in a completely different way. It's not touching P. So, but the idea was taken from the sim mode, and I do have to say that I think it flies better. I think it flies better now because what's happening when you rapidly move your sticks, it's instead of increasing the degains, it's lowering the degains. As the result, each beginning and end of the maneuver, when the INAV records the stick acceleration, is much sharper. You feel like you have more control. So this is something pretty interesting to test, and yeah, by default it's enabled with very moderate, but there are settings in the configurator when you can just increase it. For example, when we will just go here, go to the PID tuning, and in the filters, now this is mechanics. So the boost by default is very moderate. I fly with 0.5 and 1.5, and that is cool. And it's cool, super nice feeling. So maybe you will also be happy with this thing. Some fixes here, some fixes there. Oh, the cleanup. And the cleanup is that we removed a lot of support for extremely old and legacy hardware. Like for example HS SR04 sonar, some super old gyros. There are no even boards that are using these gyros. Still, the INAV still had code for that crap, and so it's not affecting anyone. However, I'm quite almost, because if anybody was using HCSR04 sonar with INAV, you should stop immediately, because this was just not working. It was one of the worst sonars ever, and if you connected this, so now you even cannot, because that was not really needed. Motor rate limiting. You know what motor rate limiting is? I bet you don't. And one more time, because nobody was really using that, this feature is gone. No more, because why to have it? On top, but we have some support for a few new hardwares. One of them is the TOF 10120 rangefinder, and also the VM5883 magnetometer. I'm not sure if there are already any GPS modules with this magnetometer, but because of there might be, because just why not? What else? Oh, this is also something that quite a lot of people wanted to have in a slightly different way. For this one, I can thank Darren, because Darren was doing this. So now it's possible to select PID profile with the switch. Before arming, or even during the flight, this is also important. During the flight, you can set up the programming framework to find the set profile, or maybe let's do something like that. So if high RC channel 6, okay, enabled, then if logic condition 0, then set profile 1, sorry, 1 is Polish for 1. 1 is 1 for Polish for 1. Okay, so what will happen now? Every time you will set the RC channel to high, it will set PID profile to profile 1. And for example, we can have also, let's say, mid, get RC channel 6, then, no, it was supposed to be mid, then set profile RC channel 6, and here we assign the logic condition 2. So now you have the possibility to set 2 different PID profiles on one of the switches and define before a flight or even during the flight if you want to fly with the PID profile 1 or the PID profile 2. That was previously in theory available in the adjustments, but it was not working, so it's no longer in the adjustments, it's only over here, and you can use it. So thank you very much, Darren. Jeszcze Polska nie zginęła. Yeah. Krużganego światy? Sorry, that was a very Polish joke. Okay. We have some questions in the chat, so maybe let me quickly go through the chat to find something. Blind arc in INAV 3.0.1 and 2.6, you can look what I'm having trouble to save the axis on the calibration of the compass. Save and reboot tab, but would save on other tabs. I don't understand what your problem is. Have you made a pull issue on the GitHub trying to, or maybe have you asked anybody else? Because I don't understand what's going on. If the calibration, but what doesn't mean it doesn't work, you save. You have an error, you do not see any values. You do have to be slightly more. The best way to describe it is to attach some screenshots somewhere. Then maybe you will be able to help. By the way, the INAV Discord is probably right now one of the best place to get answers to different questions about the INAV. So if you would like to join the INAV Discord, let me quickly copy the So Discord up, you can join the INAV Discord and ask questions over there. There is a whole section called the troubleshooting, so you should be go. Yeah, and even Benedict says that they, by the way, Benedict is also working on their own flight controller firmware. It's called Quicksilver, and they are also reducing the. So there has to be something about this thing. Blind arc. I wonder if I will add sliders to PID tuning. The sliders like Betaflight has. I'm not sure, because I'm not convinced that the simple tuning is actually simple. Or actually simpler. Maybe, who knows? But like I mentioned, I'm not really 100% convinced. So yeah, there is no plan of anything like that. Okay, and there was, I saw somewhere the question about the canvas mode and DJI canvas mode. About the DJI canvas mode, I have no idea yet, because I don't think this is official yet. However, for the support for the canvas mode in INAV, things are happening. So not yet, but maybe in the next release we will be able to give you the canvas support for the, for example, for the HD0 shark bite. Who knows, might be happening. But okay, let's continue with the new features of the INAV 4.0. PPM receivers. No, we do not support them anymore. If you are still using the PPM receivers, like super old legacy stuff, including the Dragon Link, then it's time to stop, because it's slow, it's not error resistance, there is no correction, very limited channels, it's taking resources, timers, so no more. It's time to say, in 2021, it's really time to say goodbye to the PPM receivers. You use serial receivers, because this is just the way to do it. And since nobody really released any new PPM receiver in like last 6 years, that really makes not much sense to keep support for something like that, because it doesn't make sense. Decrease accelerometer and Mach P gains in the artificial horizon. This is the fix from the Mark Hoffman, Blackist Tech, that is improving the artificial horizon drift in INAV. Not solving the problem, but it's improving this thing. So yeah. Control derivative improvements, should fly better. Black box improvements, should look better. Failsafe emergency landing mode. There is a change of the failsafe emergency landing. New sensor support. The secondary IMU BNO055 now it works in the more reliable way, because, for example, when you when it does not detect the BNO055 on boot, it's not disabling this in the setting, only disabling this temporarily, so you do not have to worry about stuff later. Set manual RC export to 35%. I already mentioned that the dynamic notches, aka matrix filters, greatly improved. Some bug fixes. Who still uses the static gyro notches? Something that was a thing in the beta flight in the 2017 or 2016 maybe even, when you just like have to find the frequency that was showing in the graph and then set a static notch on this thing. I even have a video from like 2017 that precisely showed you how to do it. Let me find this video. This is like going back in the history. Where my library, not the library, my playlists. I have too many playlists. Oh yeah, here. Ooh. Look how fancy music I had back then. What an intro. Yes, and I had the screen in the beginning of the videos. Oh boy. And no.
Hi, my name is Paweł Spychalski. Welcome to the 4th episode of
4 years later. Me now. Me then. Okay, so the idea was that you were just setting some of the static filters. Now this is gone. This is 2021. It's really time to say goodbye for such a crude methods of filtering anything. Now INAV and the software really like solves every problem you have. So, and nobody was really using that. So why to pollute the code with such a legacy stuff? Definitely not the way to go. Dmitry Dmitriev. Paweł, what do you think about using the reverse motor thrust on the fixed wing as an airspeed brake during landing? Yeah, can be done, doable. What I think, I never really found this useful on or rather require on the airplanes I'm using. Because I was always able to land without absolutely any problem with all the airplanes I was using. Maybe with some super high lift to drag ratio gliders, but then with those stuff you kinda usually already have spoilers, and you can just enable spoilers, do a crew braking, and you're stopped basically in the air. But there were experiments. It's not implemented directly in INAV, but there are ways to do it. Can I recommend that? No, Nadiesel Girl. Nadiesel Girl is back, and thank you very much for your super kind donation. This is probably the biggest donation I ever got over here, because I never previously got 50 bucks from one person. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You're my hero. You're my hero. And by the way, Nadiesel Girl is supporting me not only here, but also on my Patreon. And thank you very much. Super. Pizza night at the Paweł household. Actually, no. We have leftover pizza. Not the pizza. Leftover spaghetti. Bolognese. Ragu. I think the Italians call this thing the ragu. And tomorrow I'm doing tacos. I got stuff for tacos, so I'll be doing tacos. Anyone, Nadiesel Girl, thank you very much. Super, super, super grateful. Now I know I am working on the INAV. So that's half an hour of my work. Thank you very much. Yunel Oko 619. Can I rip my quads with INAV? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It flies differently than Betaflight. Does it fly better? No, I don't think so. Worse? Maybe like the difference is in the last 2%, but it's fly different. Some people will like it, some people will less like it. A lot of people, not only me, but also other people say that INAV handles the bigger machines better, especially 7 inches. I think that's true. Even on the, maybe not the racing, because if you want to race, then go with Betaflight. Freestyle, yes, you might actually be quite happy with the INAV. I'm flying INAV on all my quads. Not because I'm a masochist. Okay, Nadiesel Girl, tacos, yes, but this will be the first time I'm ever doing tacos, so I doubt it will really taste like tacos, and this because I do not have access to the original Mexican ingredients. It will be most probably very European version of the tacos, but still I have taco shells, I have meat, not beef, because in Europe we do not really eat a lot of beef, and the prices of beef are just like I like beef very much, but for the prices that beef is over here, no, I will just go with the pork. I have salsa, I have corn, I have beans, I have tomatoes. So we will see what I will make from those ingredients. And if I put tacos, if I put stuffing into the taco shell, does it make it a taco? I think so. Okay. Flasky says that I should test lasagna with ragu, much better than spaghetti. Trust me, I'm Italian. I bet you are. Still, this is rather not Italian version, because getting the original cuisine, no, the ingredients maybe not really. But I do make the spaghetti / ragu in the Italian way. This means I'm mixing macaroni with the sauce. It's not because in different places it's popular to have macaroni now and then sauce on top of that, but no, I'm doing this Italian style, and in the pan, stir fried a little. But okay, I think we went out of context a little, so let's continue with the INAV. Bugfix says, yes, also something that I mentioned, the MSC model works. You can have access to the beta BlackBox log from USB cable. It was broken on H7s, completely broken, was not working because the SD card was not working, and also on the F7s since INAV 2.5, INAV 2.6. Now if you go to the CLI, type MSC, it will boot up in the in the how it's called in the MSC mode, and something is not working. But oh, okay, I know. Sorry, this is not an INAV 4.0 on this quad. Oh no, it's working. Interesting. But I should not be able to connect to the quad with the MSC mode on. But I am. But see, the drive popped up and I have access to logs. Approve. It's working, but I'm surprised that it's working because it should not be working like I did it. Still okay. Still okay. Penguins can fly. Thank you for your super kind donation. And Penguins says that mini drag arrived because I sold my mini drag recently. And the Penguins can fly bought my drag. I had really had a mission how to pack the mini drag into the box and ship it from Poland to the Germany. Penguin can fly. What you can do? 2.7 was the development version of the 3.0. So what you should do is you connect to any version of the configurator you have. You should go to the CLI, do a dump or a diff. No, you should a diff. And then you should upgrade it to INAV 3, and the diff should fit pretty nicely with INAV 3.0.2. Because INAV 3.0 was supposed to be called INAV 2.7, but it's almost exactly the same. So just make a backup of the configuration, flash it with the INAV 3.0.2, and just apply the diff, and it should be working just fine. I'm sorry I have not checked this, but before shipping, but yeah. So yeah, why I sold my mini drag, because this is a sad story. I still think that the mini drag is the best FPV airplane ever. However, it turned out that I was almost not flying my mini drag, and I'm also almost not flying fixed wings at all. Why? Time, weather, COVID, somehow my local flying group disassembled itself, nobody's going flying, and when I was really going flying, it turned out that I was more often using the Flax, which is somewhere over there, because it's just smaller, lighter, more handier, uses the same batteries as every single of my quads, so it was just simpler to go with the Flax. So I decided that if 2 years the mini drag was flying like twice, maybe 3 times, then why do I even keep it? So I just decided to sell it, and Penguins Can Fly bought it, and I hope he will be super happy with the mini drag. And on top of that, somewhere there in the box is the nano drag that is waiting to be assembled. So you know, it's not that I'm not flying. It's just that, well, from time to time you have to get rid of the stuff. And I'm right now in the position when just I'm not using something, I'm trying to sell it immediately, because having this thing doesn't make much sense. By the way, anybody would like to buy called Yeti radio? Because turned out I'm also not using a Yeti. So drop me an email if you would like to buy a Yeti. Relatively cheap. Okay, let's continue with the changes. This is interesting. Another thing to use the pitot tube, which is supported in INAV for quite a lot of time, but not very widely used, is now you can have min and max airspeed alarms. So you know when you are going usually too slow and you are close to the stall. This is nice. And on some of the cases, the turtle mode was not working because the ESCs were not reversing the rotation. This was fixed. This will be fixed. This is fixed in the INAV 4.0, so that's nice. Loiter radius to programming. This is something that I know that Darren was working on, and He even made some cool examples, and for example, you can make spirals during the flight. So instead of doing the circles, you can spiral up, spiral down. The usages are almost unlimited. Of course, if you have the usage for this thing in the first place. And yeah, some changes over here. But this is something that we will not be talking right now. So those were the majority of the changes from the firmware point of view. And I think I really went with everything that was super important. In the next, we will go through the configurator changes. There was luckily less changes, and also as the information for you, we'll also release the INAV BlackBox Explorer 4.0 with a lot of fixes and improvements to better read the logs from INAV. But now we have, I'm pretty sure I have at least a few questions in the chat, so yeah, Elbart Knox, we want an official INAV target for the Flywu F745 hexacopter, but isn't this already there? Because I'm pretty sure it's there. At least that's my assumption. Because I'm pretty sure that if you fly the target Flywu F745, it will work with the hex. Not 100% sure, but I think so. 411 hex might not be working, but I'm almost positive that the one of two existing targets will work with the hex version of the thing. At least I think so. I hope so. Okay, Bandita, Paweł, what do I think? I have an AHE in LAL 5 with failed barometer FC. What suggestion tonight the best value price on the market? I think FC. 7080 FC is very expensive. Well, the thing is that the prices just went up, period. Because the prices just went up and there is nothing really you can do. So what I can say, get one of the Matex or get one of the Kakutis, Holybro Kakutis. Also, this makes nice boards. And if you, what else can I recommend? Don't buy cheap. No, maybe not for 70, 80, but I'm pretty sure that for 50 you should be able to buy something from Matek. If not, then something from Kakuti, Holybro Kakuti, and you should be happy. But the thing is, yeah, the prices are just bonkers. But this is a completely different thing. Microthen FPV, do I recommend to migrate to EdgeTx or have to wait? I have not migrated. Because in a way that I'm using my OpenTx radio, which is TX16S, by the way, I have those new gimbals. Like, ooh, super cool gimbals. The way I'm using my radios, nothing will change after I will move to the EdgeTx. Because as far as I'm concerned, none of the new features actually have any meaning for me. It's working exactly the same in any of the cases. I just use the mixer basic to output channels, period, nothing else. So I'm just looking, yeah, maybe okay, but okay, what will I get? Nothing. So this is why I'm not updating. Ask yourself also the question, what will you get? from the fact. Yeah, you will have the support for the, for example, for the touch screen, but anything besides that that really affects your usage of the radio, so far I have not found anything yet. But that's me. Don't listen to the bloke in the internet. Always check by yourself. Andre Freitas, does landing detection with rangefinder work in INAV? To some extent, yes. Not really. Landing detection does not require rangefinder in INAV. It can detect landing even without the rangefinder and disarm. 100% confidence about the disarming in the correct moment. Martin Christianson, is INAV using HAL hardware abstraction layer for STM32 or everything coded from scratch in source code? Depends. It depends on the family, on the of the thing, because if I remember correctly, F4s were using LL. For F7s we had HAL. But for H7s, we have a mixture of HAL and LL. But in general, everything... Not everything is coded from scratch. That would be stupid. The library of the STM, the folder which holds the library of the STMs is probably the biggest folder in the whole repository. So no, not everything is from scratch. But I really don't remember which versions are using HAL and which one are using LLs. You would have to check it by yourself, because I just don't remember. Okay. Christian Todorov, is there a chat space for INAV project? Yeah, we have the Discord server. The link is right now in the chat, so you can just go to the Discord server or the Telegram. That's probably Discord. I think we will. I think I will vote for switching to Discord actually, because Discord I think is better than the Telegram groups. So. And Benedict says it's using STM HALs, but something was using LLs. Something was coded with LLs. I think maybe F3s were with LLs. I really don't remember. That's not really something I'm working too often. Okay, and now it's time for the next part of the videos, because we have to talk about the changes to the configurator. The changes to the configurator for the INAV 4.0 is maybe slightly shorter than the list of the changes for the firmware, and majority of the changes are really like to bring the features to us. However, we do have quite a lot of 61 merge requests closed for this. What we have, support, blah 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 blah. Probably the most important changes are located here in the Mission Control tab and also in the PID tuning. About the PID tuning, I already showed something, that the PID tuning was really simplified a lot. Because maybe here in the PID gains not much changes, but the filters tab is much shorter, because I just got rid of almost everything that was not really important. So instead of like whole page of settings for the filters you have to set up without understanding what's happening, you only have to set this one, and maybe this one. Everything else is working out of the box, no problems. And the same is happening actually for the item mechanics. Everything that was not needed is gone, it's done. We are not using that thing anymore. Something I probably cannot show you right now, or can I? Something super cool happened on the advanced tuning tab. And here Darren, I'm pretty sure Darren will like wait for this thing. Wait, this is super important. But I'm not sure if I have a version that, but I can always compile. Because I can always compile. then I can always show you something. So let me quickly switch. No, this is release 4.0. Okay, so no. So git pull. And now let's build from 4.0. By the way, this feature you will not get with the release candidate 1 because it was merged only after I built the images. So you will get it only in the RC2 or final version. And this is here in the advanced tuning. You no longer have to really work with the centimeters everywhere because INAV configurator learned to kinda use the, for example, metric units. If you go here and select the rendering option metric, now every single of the values over here is given in kilometers per hour or meters or seconds, no longer some strange milliseconds somewhere. And because this is happening on the generic framework, it can be populated later to the other tabs. So right now, by default, navigation speed is 18 kilometers per hour, not 1000 centimeters per second. No, 500 centimeters per second. Now you know it's 18 kilometers per hour. This of course also works with different because you have also imperials if you would like to have the speed in knots. No, nautical miles per hour, not knots. So you can have it in miles per hour, or you can also switch to follow the OSD. And if the OSD is set to miles per hour, then you will have the miles per hour. But for this, I would have to go here and here if I will select the metric, because everybody loves metric, and now go to advanced tuning, we're gonna have every single fields over here in kilometers per hour, meters and seconds. A lot. You have no idea how many requests we had to finally fix that, and thanks to the fact that now this is open source and people contributed. Darren contributed, Mr. Defaulting with Style, which also has a pretty cool YouTube channel, and I'm sorry but I don't remember the name of the developer that actually implemented this thing. We finally have such a nice feature over here. Prophet, hello mate, nice to see you. Shaya Sonnenberg, is it possible to set a desired pitch angle on a quad using INAV? I tried using programming tab to use the override RC channel, but this is how angle mode works. If you enable the angle, but you would like to have something like out of the box. So no, I probably the feature like you would like this feature to be is not anywhere in the INAV, because desired angle, but when you move this stick or like when, so not really. Kidoki. So what next? We discuss this, and now I think we can go to the mission control, because the mission control also got learn a few cool tricks. First of all, we can, for example, have some options, but this is not really important. And like something I mentioned, we have the option to have the multi-missions, but we will not be going into the multi-missions today. We will, however, talk a brief moment about this. This is the mission elevation profile. Right now, INAV configurator can connect to the external source, which will give the ground elevation over the waypoint you created, and it will just give you information of how far above the expected ground level you really will be. So when especially, this is not for me because I'm flying on usually on a completely flat flat space, so this is not a problem. However, if you have slightly more interesting terrain around you, you will have the estimation. This is not really like 100% correct, but you will have the estimation of what really this looks like. And this is usually a few meters off, left and right, but still cool. So Darren says that it's Elgan Sayer who coded the units conversion. Thank you very much, Elgan. Highly appreciated. So thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot, man. So this is quite a cool thing, and in general the mission control just got better. Much better, and you can actually use it to do magical stuff. And something I also mentioned, for example, we have no, okay, sorry, not here. For example, the new type. I think I'm missing something, or maybe I have no idea how to use this crap. Maybe this is not it. Okay. I should have prepared better for this part. Let me quickly see what else. Of course, the new defaults. The configurator right now comes with the new defaults, the dialog that opens when you first flash INAV to your flight controller to choose something. We have new defaults which greatly improve everything. Both multi-rotor and fixed-wing pilots will be much happier with the new defaults because they are just better and you should use it. Oh, I remember what I wanted to show you. Some time ago, over here, somewhere here in this area of the screen, there was a button called presets. Guess what? Blair. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I have too many buttons. So, some time ago, there somewhere here was the button called presets, and we no longer have presets in the current version of INAV. Why? Because the idea behind the presets was that the pilots, users will be submitting their presets for exact type of the craft. So if you have this airplane or this drone, then you just apply this preset and it's flying great. However, not only people were not very eager to do that, also usually those presets were completely outdated because nobody was really updating them. So yeah, you can blame me. You can blame me at this moment. I decided that no, done. Okay, finish. Finito. We are no longer supporting presets. It's time to let go. And defaults are probably just a better option to go with instead of those presets. We have Autotune for the multi-rotors. We might have Autotune for the fixed wings. We might in the future have the Autotune for the multi-rotors. So just use it and presets are shum. I have no idea what shum means, but it's shum. Let me quickly one more time check if we have something interesting over here in the list. A lot of font fixes. With INAV 4.0, you just have to flash new fonts. Because without new fonts... oh, I forgot about something. I forgot about something, and this time, one more time, it's thanks to Darren. It's the mode stub. So this is how the mode stub looks right now. What's changed? Not only we have the modes divided into sections. So for example, arming has its own section, flight modes as a flight modes have their own section, and modifiers have own section, multi-rotor only modes have own section, and so on and so on and so on. On top of that, it looks like a button, but it's not really a button. It's the indication if which flight mode, if the Acro Mode is currently enabled. You see, I just added the angle mode and it immediately disabled the Acro Mode. Now I disabled by moving the slider, but still disable Acro Mode. angle mode, that means that the Acro Mode is enabled. It was very irritating for how the flight modes are working in all the multi-V derivatives, where the Acro Mode is lack of other modes. So now this is at least slightly mitigated in the configurator, and you just see this button. Okay, with this combination of the switches, the Acro Mode will be enabled. So super nice feature, those ordering of modes. Thank you very much, Darren. Good job on that. Now please remember to maintain this thing. Oh, and one more time, I forgot about something. We have new cool screens over there, the models over here. Can we quickly maybe show them? For example, you see, we have a nice image over here, and if I will load the airplane VTail, what will happen if I will apply airplane VTail? Will the model be updated? I think so. I wish so. Yes, look how cool this is. No more those awkward boxes everywhere. So this is definitely that Darren did, and we have finally in the configurator. So this looks like a mini Talon. And I think that all the versions are really covered. So let's load the airplane, let's save and reboot, and let's see what's going to happen. Yup. Yes. Nice. Thank you very much, man. Brian Gaskin, thank you very much for your $5 donation. Highly appreciated. Super cool. So cleanups, sensors tab is cleaned up. I don't know what I cleaned up, but something got cleaned. Configure with every release of the INAV configurator, the configuration tab is getting shorter and shorter. And trust me, it will be getting shorter and shorter, because majority of the settings over here are something that you never really actually should be changing. So if it's not used, then let's just get rid. Oh, and here, this is inertial. Oh, I have to switch screens. Here, the inertial measurement unit 2. If you have an external BNO connected to INAV, it will turn on blue if you have this thing connected and running. It's not something that you really have to do, but if you would like to run some experiments, then why not? Because, yeah, why not? Let's see what's happening in the chat. Blind Arc, will they be able to choose between Acro or Air Mode? Air Mode is not a flight mode. Air Mode is actually only a modifier for how mixer is behaving and what's happening with the item. But Air Mode as itself, it's not a flight mode. Yes, I know that OSD was showing Air Mode in the flight mode settings for some time, but it's not really a flying mode. Air mode is only modifier for the stabilization, and it should be basically always on. The cases when you should have air mode off is extremely limited, and well, yeah, you know. And I see that Blair wants me to push the button. I think it's really time to push the button. Yeah, so should I push the button? So, gents, ladies and gentlemen, should I push the button? How do you think? Who wants me to push the button hits the like thumbs up on the stream, because it's time to release it. So yeah, first I think we will go to the main INAV repository and publish the firmware, and then we will release the configurator. So push the button, hit the like, hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, not times up. Hit the thumbs up button. So, and you will be able to see how the releasing looks like. Drafting a release in INAV in GitHub is actually quite simple. You just have to go into places, fill some data, 4.0.0 RC1 on the branch, release candidate, fill the description, and upload hexes. By the way, building hexes takes a few hours. So it's not something you can do just during your coffee break. And then finally at the bottom you have, this is a pre-release, which is important because push the button. Yes, Blair, I will push the button. This is the pre-release. This is not the official release. Everything that we release as the release candidates is the unofficial release. So, published. Prophet no, diff all will work with errors because some of the settings were removed. The general advice is that you should tune from scratch or just copy parts of the diff. You might try to apply the full diff, sure, no problem, but most probably there will be errors. So amazing. 4.00 RC1 is now released as the pre-release. And now if I will go to the INAV configurator project and go to the releases, known issues, none. Let's go here. This is the pre-release and push the button, push the button, push the button. So have fun. INAV configurator 4.0 RC1 and INAV firmware 4.0 RC1 were just released, and now let's take a moment while you are downloading. And by the way, we'll also be able to observe how many of you are already downloaded and are using this thing. We will be even able to see the spike over here in the numbers using, and most probably we will be able to see how the 4.0 is slowly starting to climb up. But probably not immediately, but we will be observing this graph because why not? So, okay, now what I wanted to talk to you is the BlackBox Logs Viewer, because with the 4.0, but this I will not release today yet. It still requires some, let's say, changes. And there's a questions from Szczery FPV, which I bet is Polish. Nobody but Poles use so many SZ, CZ letters together, which sound like sh. If you change to INAV 4 from 3, you have to do the configuration from scratch or load the CLI content with the diff command. I just answered this question, but let's go with this thing one more time. You can do it. However, we do not recommend it. Most probably there will be errors during the migration because the setting was removed or the setting was added. We actually recommend that you flash with the full chip arrays, apply the defaults on the configurator, and then copy selected settings like the modes, calibration, and PID-tuning. This is most probably the best way to do it. And Blair UAV can, no, not really. No, because this is really a super niche, to be honest, so no. But okay, let's go back to the BlackBox Log Viewer. I'm not releasing today, but I will be releasing in the next few days, maybe weeks. We will see, and there are some fixes, let's say. Something was wrongly computed, something was wrongly adjusted, something was not displayed, some unit conversions, and also issue when you were opening a very short video to overlay the sticks. The BlackBox Explorer was thinking that it's not the video but the diff, and it was a mess. Now it should work much better. And yeah, I know Blair that some people would like to see the UAV can. and the CAN in general. And I already was talking about this today. The thing is that the number of sensors, CAN sensors, that can be connected to INAV is extremely limited. Because yes, there are CAN sensors for the ArduPilot, but they are usually the sensors that have absolutely no support currently. Yes, there are those like 1 or 2 GPS units from Matek. However, they also can be connected with the serial interface. And so for the general population of the INAV pilots, it's not really that big of a deal not to have the UAV CAN. Actually, yeah, like this week I was talking to Benedict, big laner, about, because what should I do next, because I want to align. So UAV, not the UAV CAN bus, but but no sensors. And now Benedict is with us with the chat, and Benedict just said that honestly, if somebody sends me some CAN hardware, I would implement it. However, there is almost no use cases. So if anybody would like to send Benedict some UAV CAN or CAN hardware that he can implement in INAV, then you can email me and I will let Benedict know. I will not, of course, share his emails anywhere, so you know where I'm going. I can act as in between you who want to send some sensors to Benedict and the Benedict itself. Oh, you see, and the Blair is most probably interested in this kind of a deal. So you see, Paweł connects people since 2015. Anyhow, this is the situation with the INAV, and because this is the situation with the INAV, we can quickly see if some people are already using INAV 4.0. You see, one person has right now open INAV 4.0 configurator. You see, it's here. So I think I was showing this this screen for a few times. We have the analytics for the INAV configurator. It's not sending any private data. No, it's not that. We just record information about versions, tabs, some informations about the hardware, but nothing very super specific to anyone. Oh, Cobra is with us. Leon is with us. Super nice to see you, gents. So only one person so far installed INAV configurator and launched INAV configurator 4.0. I am disappointed, but you see, one person installed the 5.0 and it's me. But no, what we can actually track with the INAV configurator and the analytics is, for example, the usage of the flight controllers. It's possible, or some settings you use. Interesting data, so maybe we can just have a quick run on this. So, for example, what's the most popular loop time in INAV? And the answer is the most popular loop time is 1000, and the second most popular loop time is 500. And most probably with the next release of the INAV, everything will be just 500, because I will disable the possibility to change it in the configurator, because why should you be able to change it? But some people still using with 4000. Okay, what do I know? Quite a lot. Or for example, we can check how many pilots are using the GPS with their INAV builds. And 57% of the users are using the GPS on their INAV builds. That's always interesting piece of knowledge. Or for example, we can check, what else can we check? Which kind of the defaults were applied. So the most popular defaults that is applied, this is, by the way, this is only last week. We can extend this to slightly longer period of time. Still, the most popular default settings is the mini quad. Then we have the without the tail, Delta Flying Wing, and then airplane with the tail, and then some even Chinese versions, because apparently somebody translated INAV configurator to Chinese. Good, why not? Or if we go... Oh, I want to check what's the most popular flight controller, because we know this. We know what is the most popular flight controller. And the most popular flight controller is everything that's compatible with the target called Matter F405S. Interesting, right? And this is really like the most popular because this is like 20% of the cases. And if you look carefully in the first top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flight controllers are from Matek. This is interesting. This is interesting how popular Matek and Matek clones, because quite a lot of different flight controllers are using targets compatible with Matek, are. I don't have this data, for example, for the Betaflight, and I suppose that they are completely different over there, but this is the reality. And H743 is on the place number 11. Somebody is doing good business with that. Blair Nichols, Windows 11 is flagging 4.0. Yes, this is probably doing this because of the NWJS library. There is no way to change it, so you just have to add it to the exceptions. It's doable. You can just add it to the exceptions. I'm using Windows 11, so I know that, yeah, so no problem. But we have no control because the NWJS isn't executable. And because of that, it thinks that it can do something, but no, it's easy. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing will explode. No harm will be done when we'll do it, and we will not be signing because how to sign? No. Interesting. Mac version of the INAV configurator is signed. It's the only. I think this is the only from the multi-derivative family. We are the only ones who have signed version of the INAV configurator, signed configurator application for the Mac. You just go there, install, it's running, no need to add any kind of the exceptions. Why? Because Alberto is iOS developer, not the iOS also. He's developer that is working a lot with the Apple software, and he's paying because you have to pay able to sign the software to the notarization process. So yeah, if not, you would have to be doing some straight crazy hacks to be able to even run it, not even flag it, but just run it. But that's the reality. So how many more people do we have? More people using INAV 4.0 already? Yes, we have 3 active usages of INAV configurator 4.0. Good. And Benedict just wrote that royalties on the H7. Yeah, but royalties on the open source, they kinda know. Okay, so because I think we can safely assume that the INAV 4.0, is my to-do list for today is done. We will no longer be talking about this. We still have the half an hour until end of the stream. So what I can say already that next stream is happening next week. Oh, Chris Whitehead, where is INAV 4.0? You have to manually go to the INAV configurator releases. I will just post the link because apparently I completely forgot to post the link because it's here. So yeah, so I just posted the link over there. So the next live stream is next week on the 20th of the November. Then there will be probably 2 weeks of the break again because of stuff, and apparently I cannot do live streams too often because then I have no topics. And some updates. Matt Berman, no 4.0 does not have the canvas mode for HD0. Might be happening sooner or later. Somebody was supposed to do it, and somebody was supposed to propose the pull request, but because of the stuff happening left and right, he had no time to do it. But I'm in the contact with the guy who's implementing canvas mode, so it's in the works. It's in the works. When it will be done, then it will be done, and we will just release it, but it's not there yet. But what I wanted to talk to you right now is that as I announced in the September, somewhere I'm just like changing everything with the channel, deleting a lot of videos, and like pushing this channel only about the FPV and RC hobby. And the last time I was saying that it's working, I'm not really 100% sure that it's still working, because it's like everything is going down. Everything is going down. I have less and less views, I have less and less subscribers, I have less and less watch time, but the revenue from the YouTube ads, it's staying on the same constant level. I don't understand it, because although I'm getting less views and less watch time, the cost of the advertisement of my channel is going up constantly. I don't understand it, but still, I'm giving myself a target of half a year to see how this will look like. And oh yeah, Darwin just said something. There is a possibility to search for target names in the configurator right now. You can just search in the list. Also pretty nice stuff. I have this second YouTube channel. I'm pushing over there the content that I'm removing from the main channel, but also there goes the content about the programming, do it yourself, and so on. For example, I will be publishing some stuff about some of the cool sensors I got from DF Robot, because from DF Robot I have the PM 2.5 air quality sensor, and this is interesting. The small MEMS sensor that can detect like 5 or 10 different gas types, including CO, alcohol, and some other gases anywhere. So yeah, and this is super interesting. My second smaller channel, although it's much smaller, it has super nicer numbers, because it's growing faster than the bigger channel. But this is a completely different situation. No, I will not get the more revenue. In terms of the revenue, the peak was somewhere in the April this year. Then since April this year, everything is going down, and if you watch on the public information of the views on the different channels in the RC hobby, and not only, you will see that everything is going down. People are no longer watching YouTubes, because apparently they can go outside, and because they can go outside, they are no longer watching videos. I'm not the only one that is observing this thing. Also, a lot of different YouTubers see that the numbers of views in general are going down. Yeah. What can't I do? Quite a lot of stuff. But okay. Also, from the interesting to like kill the last few moments, I think I'm gonna drop the analog FPV completely. I figured out that I do not like to fly my analog quads and airplanes. So why, for example, should I have the goggles, analog goggles, when I'm not using them? So probably they will also like go. I even wanted to convert my DJI goggles into the analog. I bought this British Drone Industries Digidapter, the best adapter for the analog receiver for the DJI goggles. And guess what? Guess what happened? I bought this crap for like 70-80 euros. Cool quality cables here, there. It broke after the second usage. Apparently, the voltage regulator exploded on this crap, and I'm just sending this back to the shop for the repairs, because I bought it locally. So, come on. they said you can power this from 4S. I connected this to the 4S. I put the rapid fire second use, and I only smell like, whoops, something burned, and the voltage regulator burned. So this thing. No, I will not blame Brexit. Well, no, I can blame Brexit. I can blame Brexit on many things. Wait. I completely forgot. This is something that I will be working on quite soon from the Halo RC. I got another frame. This is the Archon V3, and Great Britain manufacturing, and unfortunately I have to pay import taxes. So there will be a separate video on this. I also mentioned that I have the new gimbals from the RadioMaster. Cool stuff. Really do have to say that cool stuff. Not perfect, but pretty cool stuff. And RadioMaster knows how to do the internet marketing. They are just amazing in terms of doing the internet marketing. Like, look, a few weeks ago, everybody in the RC niche were talking about the RadioMaster. Everybody, like, they were doing unboxing gimbals. I was slightly behind because, well, just because the package was at customs for like 3 weeks, and I just got this too late because the customs forgot to tell me that they are holding the package. Look how cheap for them was to have that much of the traffic in the internet. Just send some bloke some crap, and I've completely forgot that probably today I should wear the RadioMaster t-shirt. Come on, they really know how to make the internet marketing. They are one of the very few companies that have any idea how to run the internet marketing, because the majority of the companies have absolutely no idea how to run the internet marketing, and I don't understand it. This is so simple. The simplest way to have a lot of traction is to make the simple packages for like the 20 YouTubers. Just pick someone not from the cheapest, not the less populars. Forget about the most populars, because probably you will have to pay them. Just everybody else send them t-shirts. How much is the t-shirt when you want to like order 100 of them? It will be like a few bucks. Just get the number, send the t-shirt, and people will be going during their videos, during the stream, in your t-shirts. Almost free advertisement. Much cheaper than buying ads on the YouTubes, on the internet, and so on. But nobody understands that. Companies prefer to pay the YouTube, pay the Google, instead of send stupid t-shirts to the influencers. Not really influencers, because majority of the YouTubers and not the top tier influencers they will be so happy that they got the t-shirt that they will just walking in those t-shirts all the time. This is like, and nobody understands that besides the RadioMaster. Exactly. The Prophet Bardwell did 2 live streams and only talked about the RadioMaster. I'm talking about the RadioMaster. Come on. And yeah, I got the package. I got probably exactly the same package as the Bardwell got. But because I was, the last one is like delayed. But the video about the gimbals will be going out. I have this small car, the T-shirt, the hat, the glasses. Come on, full package. And nobody else gets it. Nobody else in the internet gets it. Foxeer is pretty close. Foxeer is very close to doing this right, because Foxeer usually contacts me. Would you like to get something? They almost understand it, but no. Have I ever got a T-shirt from Foxeer? No, they do not have this wow factor. Cadix once tried to be cool, and they were sending t-shirts. They even asked me, if Paweł, would you like to get a t-shirt, but you have to give us the t-shirt size. Okay, XL. but apparently the Chinese XL is like European, I would have to say M or S, because I was absolutely not able to fit into the XL. But right now my older daughter is using this as a night shirt. Yeah, she sleeps in this t-shirt. So they tried. RadioMaster does it just the best. Nobody else really understands this. I like come on, stupid. Um. Okay. I saw that Nadizel girl wrote something, and because of her super donation, I just have to answer her question. And by the way, Nadizel girl, you are also right now a moderator on the chat, so I can see your posts more easily. A video suggestion for your other channel. Winter is coming. How do you harden your electronics for cold temps, moisture? Heater controls for the batteries. Just keep them warm, and that's all. I have, by the way, on my main channel, I have a video about this. Will I find it? Let me quickly. Yeah, I have a video about this stuff. I have a video about this stuff. We can.
My name is Paweł
You see?
Spychalski, and you might not see it yet, but the winter is coming. It's still sunny. Well, at least today it's sunny. Tomorrow it will not be
See,
sunny
3
anymore.
years ago I made
Temperatures
such a
dropping to the
video, and
areas of
only
0
1.2
Celsius, and
kilos
soon there will be
thousand of the
snow.
people decided to watch it. So yeah, so you see. But I do have, and I talk about few stuff. But this was my period when I was still making shitty videos, because for the 7 minutes it was only my face, nothing else happening. I'm working on it. I'm improving. So, but this is a completely different story. Okay. What else do we have in the chat? Because I'm out of topics for today, so we will not be talking about stuff. Leon Vuksic, I'm too poor to go to digital. Yeah, it's not cheap, but good analog is not that much cheaper, to be honest. And since I went digital, actually I cut the number of the flying things I'm using by half. Because it turned out that if I want to fly this thing, I would have to convert this thing to digital, and that means I would have to spend a shitload of money on that. And I decided, no, I don't like this one. No. And as the result, when before buying digital, I had like 7, 8 quads ready to fly. Now I have dun, dun, 4 quads and 1 airplane, and that's all. And every of those quads is completely different, so they have a purpose. I have one 5-incher, one long range 7-incher, one freestyle 7-incher, one 4-incher, and one airplane. Every single one of them is full digital, and I'm not really planning to buy any more, because why? And everything else that I have is super experimental stuff for doing some crazy things. Or maybe not crazy, but yeah, the things. Okay. Christian Todorov, how does HD0 compare to DJI? Suboptimal. Worse. No, but depends what you are expect. Do you expect the, I don't know, quality integration with analog goggles, or something like that? I think in the terms of easy to use and the quality, the DJI is still better, much better. The new cameras improved quite a lot, but it's, from my perspective, it's just better analog. It's not the same as going with the DJI digital, just like that. So okay. Richard Conway, just got a Crossfire Nano. When I try to bind it, it just goes to red flashing red, so the TX is recognizing their X. Hope you can help. Tried everything. No, I don't think I can help you with that, mate. I'm not using any of the TBS products right now, and I'm just not an expert on this. My idea is that read the manual for the Crossfire one more time. I'm pretty sure there has to be something in there, but I know about at least two cases that my friend had huge problems when binding Nano RXs from Crossfire because of the broken hardware. There was something just wrong with the receivers themselves, and it was unfixable by any things. They just got to get new new receivers. And Nadizel Girl says that she's just building Pirx 7. It's a very well-made frame. Thank you. I know it's a very well-made frame because look, I still have mine. You see, Pirx 7. But if I would be designing Pirx 7 now, and maybe I will do a Pirx 7 V2, I would make it slightly different. I would make it slightly different. I would change a few elements of the design, and I would try to make the frame slightly lighter. Maybe something like a combined between 7 and HD.7, which is a different frame, but more like for the flippity floppy. So this is the Pirx 7, this is Pirx HD.7. Similar, but not really the same. Both are dead cats, but on the 7 you can more see that it's dead cat. And the HD.7 has a space for the full-size air unit in the back, while with the Pirx 7 you have to fit it between the front arms over here. It fits, no problem, but I think people rather expect something like that, so maybe I will make some modifications to it. IPO FPV says that if you calculate the price you have to pay for a good analog equipment, VTX, TX camera antenna, a DJI VTX is not that far away. Yes, exactly, that's what I said. If you sum things up, it's more expensive, but not that much more expensive. Of course, that there is no cheap option, like you cannot buy cheap crap that it's DJI compatible. You have to pay, but I really like, if you are starting, go with digital, ignore the analog. If you want to have a good quality stuff, just go. Cobra Pirx 7 depends on the build. The frame itself with all the stands-offs is below 200 grams. When you build it, it really depends when you put on this. It's not light. I never designed Pirx 7 to be a light frame. I wanted to have this thing very stiff, very resistant to crashing, and with a lot of space inside to put everything you want to put over there. The frame, I think, like, I don't remember right now, 198 grams, I think, when I assembled the prototype, something like that. Not light, not the heaviest, but remember, this is a huge frame when you have space for everything, and it's still a 7-incher, and it will like carry 1 kilo of the lipos, absolutely no problem. Carbon glass man, I built a Mr. Croc frame 7-inch and love it. I don't know how to tune it, so only flies well on 4S, but it's still a lot of fun. I don't know what to say, how to tune it. Tuning is hard. I'm working on this Autotune, so maybe something will happen. And Blair says that I should talk to Art FPV to get him back into the sport. No. Well, no, I spoke with Arthur a few weeks ago, a week ago, maybe slightly more. And he's really like 100% out of the hobby because everybody gets bored with everything from time to time, and it's just Arthur lost interest in the FPV, the quads, like 2 years ago. Then a year later he lost interest in the flying at all, and that's normal. That's normal. People come, people go, and he's doing music now. By the way, you know him personally? He's in Scotland. You're from Scotland, so maybe even you know him personally. Probably your distance to Arthur is closer than my distance to Arthur before he migrated to Scotland. /7. By the way, I love your T-shirt, man. I really love the T-shirt you have on this picture with Mark. Flippity floppy, man. Flippity floppy. Attack FPV 4.0, yes, it's out. Release candidate 1 is out. You can download this thing, but for the more details, you would have to watch the DVR of the stream. By the way, the stream will be available as the podcast on the majority of the podcast platforms tomorrow, probably tomorrow. I will have to process it. Surprisingly, people are listening my podcasts. Let me quickly open the statistics. Apparently, people are listening to this thing. I never expected this actually to be happening. I have an audience of like 32, and 5 listeners in the last 5 days. And every stream I publish somewhere here, more and more people are listening this stream without my voice at all. So yeah, why not? It will be there in the next day or so, and that's all. Yeah, and good thing about Pirx 7, from the small group of people that got the Pirx 7, because it's really like you're the elite. In total, I don't know, below 50 frames, 40 something frames in total are right now worldwide. By the way, if you would like to have the Pirx 7, which is really a super cool frame, and like you see, everybody in the chat agrees that this is a super cool frame, I can only say that you should go to here, and I'm 7, and there is a link to the Armatan Productions where you can order the frame. Oh, and a diesel girl just posted the link. So this is the frame in this original analog configuration, and yeah, I will have to update the tune probably, but yeah, and yeah. And it's not even that expensive of the frame, because if you look how much of those premium frames you have to pay right now, the price, I think I'm getting on one unit $10. If you order the frame on the Armatan Productions, my cut is $10, so it's not really that much, and still it's cheaper than a lot of smaller frames and much worse frames. Yeah, okay, that's the reality. Okay. So Cobra already knows when he can get it. By the way, there are also 8-inch arms for the Pirx 7, so you can install the 8-inch arms and put bigger motors. And yeah, I think it's all for today, because the biggest part of today's is that INAV 4.0 release candidate 1 has been just officially released, and even I saw that a few people downloaded it and started using right now. Okay, just real time versions. I want to see how many versions. Yes, 2 people right now are using INAV Configurator 4.0. If you find any problems with 4.0, if you find any bugs, please report in the GitHub issues so we can take a look. I don't really expect that will be a lot of things going wrong because we are really flying this thing. Developers are flying this as they are doing stuff, so it should be fine. And yeah, I think that's in that case, that's all for today. Like I mentioned before, the next live stream is next week on the 20th. We're gonna do the regular stuff of me answering questions, talking about crap. Maybe we will release the RC2, maybe not, depends on how it's gonna go. And what? Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks everyone who decided to send me his hairs support as the super or the donation or whatever. Everyone who decided to become a patron on Patreon or the supporter on the YouTube, thank you really very much. Because what I'm doing is really hard work. Imagine what would happen if one day Paweł decided I will just lay down instead of developing this kind of crap. Okay, thank you very much. Until the next one. Bye bye. I'm using this thing not often enough. I never remember which button I should press now to